Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between Tefel and mTwNani here on Metalopolis. We have Tefel spawning as, the red Zerg player over here at the almost 7 o'clock position. Meanwhile, we have mTwNani spawning on the north side of the map as the green Protoss at the 1 o'clock position. So this is going to be a Zerg versus Protoss matchup here on Metalopolis. Now, mTwNani most likely will be dropping a pylon at some point right around now, and then perhaps we'll continue scouting or just go back to mining. We'll see what exactly his strategy is. He's going to go ahead and continue to mine, so looking more for an economic opening. Down over here, Tefel continue to mine as well. Overlord, is he going to do the extractor trick? He made, doing the extractor trick, now getting up into the 11/10 food, and whenever a drone turns into a building, it takes away from the food count, and then you can cancel that building after you start building another drone in order to try to increase that drone count once again. It works out fairly well. I don't suggest it for, suggest trying to do the 12 extractor trick or the just because it doesn't work nearly as well, and your overlord will be significantly delayed. Tefel down here now getting a spawning pool, so standard 13-14 spawning pool, no sort of rush being indicated. mTwNani now getting the single gateway and also getting an assimilator. So what that assimilator is telling me is he's going to be going for a cybernetics core instead of a dual gateway. Now this is one of the things that you can do against a Zerg player but not against a Terran player. And generally against a Terran player, you really want to make sure that both of your pylons are fairly close together in the early portion of the game. Reaper harassment, I've recently seen a lot of games or played a lot of games where because there wasn't double pylons early on, a Reaper or two were able to take down a pylon before that first Stalker came out. And without that Stalker, that is just so difficult. Now mTwNani doing a little bit of a curious move, moving out with 3 probes and a single zealot. So those 3 probes do in fact move faster than that zealot. That zealot just doesn't have those legs as it used to. As those probes now will be able to pass up that zealot that zealot running through a lamppost like it's nothing, and now going to be doing a little bit of an engagement here. This is a strange maneuver now. This single probe may get taken down, trying to do a little bit of a juke, able to run back around, but getting a little bit sidetracked, may get taken down, and this is a very heavy harassment coming in from mTwNani. mTwNani using zealots and probes in order to do an engagement, and this is almost unheard of. Second zealot now coming in, may lose that zealot. No, that zealot once again pulling back away, able to fight this lower hit point zealot, trying to go to the far side of this hatchery and ensuring that it will not get surrounded by those Zerglings, those zealots and probes, and now a single drone and a queen coming in to do a little bit of engagement, trying to dish out that damage. A queen coming in to do a fight, both sides taking some losses, and as those zealots and probes just trying to press. So mTwNani doing a very aggressive push, will have to micro very well in order to really dish out the damage that he really wants to do. mTwNani trying to save this lower hit point zealot. Single queen also taking a couple few swipes as well. Hatchery down to 333 hit points. Perhaps a transfusion or perhaps trying to train a queen would be fairly useful. And now that queen right in that right position to try to make sure that these zealots are easily surrounded, and all of those probes and zealots are being forced to run back to their base. A second, more zealots now being coming in on that engagement. More Zerglings, so a very large army, 600 versus 600. A queen off of that creep, and Zerglings now trying to get a surround on this group. It does not look very good for these zealots. Zealots now getting surrounded, probes getting taken down, and Tefel just destroying mTwNani's very early, very aggressive push. Now we have a robotics facility being placed down, an additional zealot being placed down. Don't know why he really went for that early gas. A double gateway would have been a much more effective opening. Also now getting a sentry, not even researching the warp gate ability yet. I do not agree with mTwNani on this particular opening. This particular opening does not work out very well for him. And now we have a single zealot trying to hold back a swarm of Zerglings. We do have a single forge in position, and now we also have a sentry. The sentry now with that disruption beam downgraded from 8 damage to 6. but that additional one shot would help that Zealot out tremendously. That Zealot didn't take any significant damage, as that Zealot is now recharging its shields. Chrono boosting the Observer in order to figure out what exactly Tefel is doing. Army-wise, we have Nani sitting at 250 mineral army versus Tefel's 425. Harvester-wise, both sides fairly even. I'm curious on how Nani was able to get up the economy that strong, as Tefel was I'm sure took a fair amount of losses, or no, sorry, Tefel was able to dish out those losses against those 3 early probes in the game. And the additional gateway being put down, so it's going to be a 3-gate opening with also in a robotics facility. We have Immortals now being chrono boosted. Immortals taking 55 units of time to build in order to be completed. So yeah, gonna be interesting how that really works out. Immortal just standing off over here, holding, perhaps trying to fend off any additional roaches. A forge now being placed down and now getting destroyed by their own zealots. No weapons upgrade, no any type of upgrade at all. So Nani just building that forge in order to make sure that he does not get swarmed during the early portion of this game. Zealots and Immortals now moving out. A single Zergling was going to try to do a little bit of scouting, as another Immortal now moving out. The Immortal should be able to get 2 shots, 1 shot, 2 shots, able to take down that Zergling. So down goes that Zergling. Tefel sitting with the Zergling over here and an Overlord here, offering a little bit of scouting as well. A single probe from Nani still also in this engagement. Not quite sure why that probe is there. Perhaps it looking to build a proxy pylon in order to be able to warp in units and reinforce from base very early. 4-gate with a robotics bay. Now that those gateways are up and running, we should be seeing some more units being warped in. Now Mutalisk coming in, however, and those Mutalisk are going to be fairly difficult for those units to engage. Stalkers coming in to fight back, and Sentry now being pushed back as well. The Sentry no longer as effective at taking on Mutalisk and compared to the original patch. So that's one of the concerns that a lot of Protoss players I've talked to had with the debuff on the Sentry. The Sentry no longer counters Mutalisk nearly as much as it did in the prior to the patch. Zerglings coming out to do a little bit of engagement as well. Only a couple of Zealots, a couple of 3 Zealots, a couple of Mortals, and another proxy pylon being placed down as more units being warped in from Nani. So just trying to macro up. This is an all or nothing, all-in 4-gate push coming in from Nani. If this is successful, he will win the game. If not, he will simply get overrun because he's committing so many minerals into this army. And Immortals and Stalkers continuing to fight. Mutalisk now pushing in and being forced to push back or pull out once again. Only 3 spine crawlers there. Mutalisk and Sentries now trying to take down this particular pylon, able to get a couple of those hits in. However, another proxy pylon being built on that high ground. Tefel does not know about it, so that we'll be able to reinforce even further. Nani sitting on 600 minerals now, really wants to get that pylon up and running to warp in more units. Now in come these units, more Stalkers being warped in. Very nice all-in push, and now Nani is just going to be able to overrun Tefel, as he's going to be able to get a seemingly endless supply of reinforcements. Zerglings trying to come in and engage. No speed link upgrade. Mutalisk now focusing down those Stalkers. However, those Stalkers are focusing back as well. More Stalkers being warped in and to do this engagement, and these Immortals will be able to take down the main hatchery. So the expansion has been taken down, and Broodlings now trying to come in, trying to finish off the rest of these units. Mutalisk able to focus down a lower hit point Stalker, but however, Tefel now losing a couple Overlords as well. And Nani should not be focus firing down those Overlords, as the Overlords he has so much food supply that it really doesn't matter when an Overlord gets taken down. Sitting at 47/74 food compared to Tefel's 45/74 compared to Nani's 47/74, and Tefel says Mutalisk wasn't a good idea. GG. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this game here on Metalopolis between Nani and Tefel. Zerg versus Protoss.